Anyways, welcome into another juicy episode of Two Guys in a Mic, sponsored by Jimington Sports and also partnered with Dubby. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe below. I am here with my minions over here. Special guest Tony over here, along with Mike right below me and Matt over there in the corner. This week, guys, we're gonna be what?
This week I'm actually moving.
I know how you actually. Hey, you did a pretty good job of holding your breath last week.
Hey, you look good in that Giants jersey, you fake ass fan.
Like that shit. Hey, it's not. I like greatness.
No.
Okay.
Why you go off camera
when you put healthy Barkley?
Hey, why you go off camera when you put that in your mouth?
Out of courtesy for the viewers, Mike.
Hey, yeah, you never been shy about putting stuff in your mouth on camera. Come on now.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans. $1.99 a month. That's all it costs.
$1.99? Damn, I pay 75 cents, bro. I got the discount.
You pay?
Anyways, guys. So this week for week 6, we're gonna do things a little differently. We each picked a game that we thought we should kind of break down and talk about instead of going over every single game in the NFL. I think it takes too much time. We can't really go into in depth on some of these games. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to talk about the Philadelphia Jets game. Really, I had, along with most people, I had Philadelphia beating the Jets. I figured it was going to be a close game just based off of the Jets defense, but the Jets managed to pull it out. But some of the stats indicate, I would say, Philly should have won this game. Philadelphia total yards was 348 to 244 for the Jets. Zach Wilson was sacked 5 times. The time of possession was pretty even, but here's the big stat. The Eagles were 50% on third down conversions. Jets were only 18%. Jets only averaged 4 yards per play. Penalties, Jets almost had double. It was 9-5. But here is the stat that killed the Eagles. 4 turnovers to the Jets 0. Zach Wilson took care of the ball this week. I will say, Wilson, I still feel the Jets still need to move on from Wilson. He's looking a little bit more comfortable, but he's still doing some things that he's really got to stop. Like, for instance, I call them rookie sacks. He's taking sacks that he really shouldn't be taking. On third down, he's trying to make too much happen. He's trying to look for only the big play instead of sometimes you have to take what the defense gives you. It's always better than move forward than backwards, obviously in football. But going back over to the turnovers, now a lot of people are going to look at the stat sheet and see Hurts had 3 interceptions. It's like, geez, Hurts is the reason they lost. The first interception came off of a deflected, well, it wasn't even a deflected pass. It went right into, right into, I think it was Goddard's hands.
It was in his possession, too, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be some type of fumble, but I guess it doesn't matter. It bounced off of him and, went right into the Jets' defensive arms. It counts as an interception towards Hurts. Second interception came, arm moving forward. Arm got hit from behind. A duck up in the air. Jets intercepted it, took it. So the third interception, though, I think should have never happened. They were in no position to be passing the ball. The 2 minutes had just happened. Your defense has played well all game. Just run the ball. Make the Jets take a timeout. Punt it. I don't know why you're throwing the ball right there. The offensive coordinator, I know he wants to put on Hurts, but the offensive coordinator, I think, is to blame on that. Should not have been passing on that. That was almost like during the 49er game where they try to get cute, throw it in the end zone, almost got picked off. There's just certain times you don't throw the ball, and that's one of them. You got the lead, run the ball, punt it, let your defense do what they normally do. And I honestly think if they had punted the ball, I think they would have won the game. That's just my personal opinion. But also, Philadelphia also missed a field goal in the fourth quarter. And that also was a big, huge mistake. I think had he made that, I think for sure that Philadelphia also would have ran the ball right there. Now, I will say the Jets might have shown how to beat the Eagles. They completely shut down their run game. Mm-hmm. Outside of Hurts, Swift was the next rusher, 10 for 18. Nothing. Okay, I think Hurts dropped back 45 times. That's not his game. That's not who he is. That's not what he does. And I think moving forward, I think if some teams take the defensive tape right here off of the Jets and see some of the things that they did and try to get the Eagles to turn into just a passing offense, I think the Eagles could be in trouble down the line. Yeah. Also on the other side of the ball, Wilson 19 of 33, 186 yards. Brees Hall only ran 12 for 39. I think really what it just really honestly came down to was the turnovers. I think that's the only thing that allowed the Jets to win was the turnovers. So with that, what do you guys think? Did you guys see anything different? Or you guys have any take on this game?
I'll just go. I agree with you with the whole turn. Justin Fields turn fucking.
Wow.
I was thinking about the thumb.
He's my
I was thinking
captain.
about the thumb. Turn Jalen Hurts into that passer is going to pass 40 to 50
The thumb in
times.
his ass.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think this offense, you can just tell. This is an offense removed from Shane Steichen. They no longer have him as offensive coordinator. Now he's in Indy. You can see it. It's the same system, but you can just tell there's something missing. There's a connection, whether it's between the offensive coordinator, the play calling, and the quarterback, or the wide receivers. Like Devonta Smith isn't involved as much. He's getting the targets, but it's not turning into production. And I think that you can take advantage of that if you can hold that. If you can shut down the run game, make Hurts beat you with his arm. I think that's a good recipe for success against the Eagles.
Against the Eagles, yeah. Okay, what I was thinking about this whole time, and when I watched the game, because we had been talking about it for the past few weeks, like the Eagles don't look the same, and they finally got shown up that like they're not the same, and they can get beaten, and they lost to the Jets of all people. Because then you have the other side of the spectrum. It's like people are asking to just make the Jets look good. No, it doesn't make the Jets look.
But let's not forget the Jets defense have a great defense though.
Yeah, they have a great defense. I just still don't think that the Jets are good. I feel like this game was kind of one of the like least likable games of the weekend.
I feel like the Jets are just a quarterback away. That's what they really are. And I understand.
Yep.
I understand they still need to see what they have in Wilson because, what if Roderick gets hurt again next year?
Did you guys see him throwing on the
I
field?
was just gonna
without
bring
crutches.
I don't want that. There's no way he tore his.
He's walking around. He was throwing the ball in pregame.
There's no
without
way
crutches.
he tore his Achilles.
crutches.
They lied to us. There's no way.
No way he took a shot at ayahuasca in his Achilles. He's the only man that's going to recover from a torn Achilles in 2 months.
He left his foot in darkness for 4 days.
Hey, it's all part of the script.
It's all part of the script.
They're gonna make the playoffs as a wild
And then he
card. He's
comes
gonna
out.
come in the playoffs and lead him to the Super Bowl.
You don't have to do much. I mean, all he has to do is get a little healthy Brees Hall back there.
If that
manage the
happens,
game.
Mike, scripted. I'll never get off this step stool or pedestal. Sorry, whatever, bar stool. Fuck it.
Good try. At least you tried, Tony.
Yeah, at least you tried.
So, okay. So with that going, let's move on. Tony, all you Giants, Bills, what you got?
Giants Bills. I think this was the most like just active game in terms of bunch of shit going on. I mean, you had brawls. You had like Damien Harris being pulled off on an ambulance. Like the Bills, that's happened twice in 2 years. Conspiracy theory. Damar Hamlin, Damien Harris, both start with DA or initials or DH, and they both go down. I don't know, man. Son, there might be a there, but I feel like this game clearly showed that the Bills, they just don't know what they're doing sometimes. Because how is Josh Allen going to have 169 yards passing when every game he's been over 200, been consistent, even though they lost to the Jets the first week? Like Allen is just not. I don't know. I think Allen is the problem. That's my opinion. I think Allen is the problem for the Bills as a whole. He's not consistent enough to carry them to the Super Bowl, which has always been his problem with the past few years. And I just wish he could get it together. I mean, if it wasn't for Stephon Diggs, that team would cease to exist. Period. Stephon Diggs carries them. Every game he's at over 100 yards, minus the second one against the Raiders, which blows my mind that he didn't have over 100 yards against the Raiders. And so I feel like the Bills, I don't even know what to expect every week. Last week, I know they lost. They lost to Jacksonville, but it was the international game. I always give teams benefit of the doubt because I travel internationally a lot for work, and I know how much stress it takes on your body. Even a week, it really screws with you. So I give them the benefit of the doubt there. But to play against the Giants, who have been demolished by shitty teams, like they haven't been demolished by good teams, they've been demolished by shitty teams.
Cowboys.
And they're shitty, bro. I don't care what anybody says.
Hey,
They got.
speaking of though, they won tonight.
I saw that. Saw the same thing. But the Giants and the Cowboys got shown up. Like they're not what everyone thought they were when they came out in the start of the season. And so I think Daniel Jones is the problem. Never should have been paid that money in the first place. This game kind of proved it. Tyrod Taylor went out there, played better than Daniel Jones, in my opinion. Saquon did his thing, carried the team. Yeah, Taylor had probably the biggest blunder. That's going to happen all season. You don't call a timeout at the goal line. I don't understand how you missed that. I was mad for the Giants. I'm like, what? How do you not know that?
Which one are you talking about? Before the end of the game or before halftime?
No, before halftime. I think they were right there. The end of the game was. I feel like if they would have tried a little bit harder, they could have got it. I think it was the halftime one that really got me. I was mad. I was just as mad as their coach, and so I feel like the Giants, they played well, but the Bills should have demolished them, and they just didn't. Josh Allen. It was Josh Allen's fault. That's what I had to say about that.
Yeah, I go ahead.
I was going to say you and I, especially you, Scott. You always say, take the points. If you're in a position to take the points, you take the points. They kick the field goal before halftime. They kick the field goal at the end of the game. They win the game.
Yep.
Well, let's not forget Buffalo had 2 missed field goals themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. So the other thing too is Josh Allen really had no excuse to not be almost perfect this game. He wasn't even sacked.
Yeah.
You know, my question is, how did Buffalo allow the Giants to be 50% on third down conversions? You know,
with that offense.
Well, honestly, I think the Buffalo situation has gotten on defense has gotten worse as the season's gone on because they just kept losing players. I think they're just losing defense. It's injuries is getting their defense. It's just going to get worse.
Well, I'd like to see the Bills rush a little bit more with Cook. I mean, he was averaging over 5 yards a carry.
But did you see why he wasn't playing?
No, that I did not. What happened?
he blew a blitz pickup that got Allen pretty much laid out, and that's why you saw more Latavius Murray in the game. He was like, he saw the guy coming. He was like, "Let me escort you to my quarterback, sir." He was like, "Yeah, he's available." And it was a whiff, dude. It was bad. If you go look at it, I should have sent it to you guys. It was bad. Like, he is a liability in blitz pickup.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing too, the Giants actually had more total yards than the Bills.
They did too. Huh? Yeah, they did.
Yeah. The Bills were held under 300 yards of total offense against a Giants defense that
More passing or rushing.
They like to just. They actually, as you guys said, they like to actually escort you to the end zone themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things that I think, Tony, you're 100% correct. It's the inconsistency of the Bills. Every year, year in and year out. And I'll tell you what's not inconsistent is that defense.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a defense that's consistent, week in and week out, playing hard, doing their job, but your offense is like, oh, 1 week, we're going to put on, 40 plus on Miami, and we're going to arguably play a worse defense and just a worse overall team than the Giants, and we're going to score what the score was 14-9.
Yeah, I don't understand how you demolish the number 1 scoring offense in the league, and you almost lose. You lose to the Jets, and you almost lose to the Giants.
It's like their play either elevates or drops down to the level of their opponent.
They're either up here or they're down here. There's no
Miami beat the Giants just pretty handily. So it's like the NFL, man. You guys know, any given Sunday, anything can happen.
That's great.
But I would say though, on the Giants, Tyrod Taylor that offense looked a lot better under Tyrod Taylor than it did with Daniel Jones.
Hey, just keep the doctors away from him. Don't let him puncture his lung.
Oh,
damn.
Anyways, moving on. Matt, you wanted to talk about the Dolphins, Carolina, but I know you really wanted to focus on the Dolphins. So
yeah, it was more the Dolphins. I want to touch on. I'm going to go through it. Bryce Young. I actually watched a lot of the game, of course, because like I said, Miley and Giovanna, they're Dolphins fans. Go figure, right? So Miley, every time she's like, "You see Tyreek Hill," and I was like, "Yeah, I saw it. He's on my fantasy team." But Bryce Young, he looked good this week. I mean, a lot of quick passes to Adam Thielen. He had 217 yards, 4 sacks though. He kind of held the ball a lot. Chuba Hubbard in replace of Tony's boy. Tony's
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders. He was 19 to 88 for a touch. So I mean, they're in the rebuilding phase. Well, I don't know what Carolina's doing over there, what they're trying to do. They're trying to rebuild around Bryce Young, and that's a work in progress. But I wanted to go in depth about this offense. This offense is just honestly next to like the Peyton Manning offenses in Indy, like this offense is just phenomenal. I know they had that one hiccup against Buffalo and division game. You know, I'll throw that one out. And I know they've been doing this against kind of least competition, or competition is not up to their level. But this offense is just through 6 weeks. They have 2,988 total yards, more than the greatest show on turf, which is the Rams from 1999. It's just this. What they keep doing is putting on the field is just phenomenal. Like. It's hard to believe, and I try to go look into it. And I'm like, how in the hell are they running the ball, passing the ball like this? And it starts with the guys up front, man. This offensive line is ranked 8th overall out of PFF. So I mean, it's just weapons got good.
No, one thing I wanted to say on is Mostert gonna stay healthy?
I was gonna get to that. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. That's just one thing I wanted to throw out because as a Niner fan. I hate him. All right,
yeah,
I hate him.
And it's just the age. He's 31. He's a 31-year-old back. I'm touching that with the offensive line. The ranked 8th out of PFF overall. Tua has the third quickest release time with 2.51 seconds. So they get the ball out quick. That's the objective. They run the most motion in the NFL, which is 83.3%. And Mostert, like you said, 31 years old. Can he keep it up? I don't think he needs to. I know A-Chain's out for 4 weeks, but I think you got Jeff Wilson coming back. Yeah, Selvin Ahmed. He did decent this week, so it would be nice for him to stay healthy. He's on pace for 31 touchdowns, right? He's phenomenal. He's quick when you get him in space, but you have so many weapons with A-Chain coming back. They got to buy in a few weeks. I mean, man, this team is just electric, and I like to see it in a day and age where it's all about offense. You hardly see like teams like this. You would expect to see it more, especially with defenses like you can't hold a receiver past 5 yards, you can't put hands on them. And you expect to see this more, and we actually don't. But this is a record-breaking offense. They're on pace for what? 8,687 yards. The NFL record was 7,400 by the 2011 Saints with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. So they're going to put up some records, and I'm here for it, man. And it's just phenomenal to see. Yeah. Tyreek Hill is on what for 2,317 touchdowns, and it's just like I don't know. Can they keep this up? I know they have a couple tests coming up. I want to say Kansas City's on the schedule for them, Philadelphia, the Jets in a few weeks. So they're gonna have their hands full with the Jets. But I want to see what this offense can do in the next few weeks and see if they can keep this pace up.
Yeah, I think what makes it so dangerous too is that they're probably the only team in the NFL that like. You could have them backed up on their own 10, and you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, they're down by 14 in this game. I watched it, and I was like, oh, shit, they're down 14-0 going late into the first quarter.
Hey, but that's the thing. You're not scared, like Scott said. You're not scared. No. Like, you don't – these people play at the highest caliber. Like, they're probably taking a break. Like, hey, you guys get in? Oh, you got in late? All right, we'll start. Let's start. No, it's like they just flip a switch.
If you really think about it, the way that they can put points up and how fast they can put them up is like how Kansas City used to do it a few years ago.
Yeah. With Kareem Hunt and everybody over there?
Yeah. We know that, obviously, Niners and Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but that year – and that's one thing that I said about the Super Bowl, that's the only thing you got to be afraid of. Yeah, Niners can have a lead late, but Kansas City could have thrown points up quick, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, it's like, okay, so going to that point, think about it. What's the similarity between back then and today? There's one commonality. It's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill himself is he is a massive reason why the offense can do what it does, because people are so focused on where's Tyreek. He's so fast. You have no idea where he's going to be, and
But even in Miami though, it's not just him.
No, I know that.
Without him, I don't think they can be this great though.
I agree. Without
on that
him,
offense is fast.
Yeah,
without him, they would
not as fast as him. You're so like, even subconsciously, like, you prep for Hill. You're not prepping for Waddle. You know you can play Waddle.
You know Waddle can do damage, but he's not going to do damage.
But he's not Hill. You're prepping. How can I? Where is Hill? That's what you're prepping for. Not how can I stop him? Where is he?
I see this game. He's lined up in the backfield next to the damn running back. And right next to the quarterback, and they put him in motion, almost fucking running a circle. I'm like, dude, the guy already has full speed going in the backfield, and he's just fucking going. I'm like, on a wheel route, and he's just a decoy that play, and you got fucking Waddle across the middle open. You got Mostert out the backfield. I'm like, dude,
McDaniel he's like a crazy phenom. I think he's the smartest coach right now because he has the capability to use
like Scott said, I'm gonna give his Snyder some credit. He does come from the Kyle Shanahan tree. He does come from that tree, and he just knows. I honestly, I think he has way better weapons than Kyle Shanahan ever has had. So I'll give him that.
Speed. It's the speed of the Dolphins. Like, did you guys see the last week? It was before A-Chain got hurt. He was jogging and running with Hill.
A-Chain's faster, isn't he?
Yeah, I think by like 0.2 or something like that. Supposedly,
I thought it wasn't 8-Chain. I thought it was like
it's A-Chan.
A-Chan.
So now that we're talking about it, the top 10 fastest plays in the NFL this year, Miami has 7 of the top 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're probably almost all pretty much Miami.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill was the fastest this year at 22.2. A-Chain was 21.9.
Okay, think about it like this. Mostert.
He had one too. 21.
Yeah, Mostert's fast, dude. With the Niners, he was usually holding the fastest run.
The Dolphins are everything that Al Davis wished he drafted.
that stayed out of trouble.
Now, here's like Matt, what you said. Okay, so they play the Eagles this upcoming week. I can't wait to watch that game.
Oh, I want to watch that Sunday
I
night.
think it'll be fine against the Eagles. I'm actually curious more about the Kansas City game in week 9, because I'm actually not so much curious about Miami. I want to see if this Chiefs defense is for real. Like,
you know what's going to suck about that game is that's an international game.
Yeah,
is it?
Yes.
What the?
Who's gonna have the jet lag?
Fucking it is 6 a.m. Why would they do that to us? Why did you not put this on Sunday night or Monday night? What the?
Because I hate these international games. I hate them with a passion.
Did you hear the other shit they're talking about? They have talks of distance.
They want a team over there.
They want to have a Super Bowl over there.
Yeah, they go fuck themselves. Anyways, we're getting off course. But we don't want to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that at a later date. But like Scott said, against Kansas City, that's going to be their test coming up. They have Philly, they have New England. I think they can score some. They can put up against.
But even then, it's like it's not even a true test. Like, it's just a game. But like Mike said, like who has the jet lag? All of them are gonna have the jet lag. They're all gonna have it. Whether the game is like 20-20, if they didn't have it, like if they win 25-20 or whatever, some low scoring game, could they have gone 45-47? Some fucking bonkers score. Like if they were at full health, fully rested, like that's what I wish I could see.
Yeah. So Mike, go ahead and take it away with San Francisco Cleveland.
Yep. So obviously not happy about how that game ended, but there was some key injuries. Debo went down very, very early in the game. McCaffrey went down later on. Trent Williams was hurt. He came back in though. McCaffrey came back in for one play, and then after that was gone. I think the biggest one that hurt him though was Debo because of the intangibles. Or the intangibles, I'm sorry. Ray McLeod went in and took his place, and you could see that the offense, just with all the movement and stuff, was not the same. Some of those plays, they were out of sync, on the motion when he's going in front. And there was one where Trent Williams came out to block, and he ended up actually having to duck out of the way of the pass because they were just that far off in timing. I think that, yeah, you have McCaffrey, who's, obviously probably the most dynamic and important player on that offense. But I think Debo not being there though hurt them in that way more so than McCaffrey. Niners have a good guy to spell McCaffrey if he goes down in Mason. Mason. Go ahead, Matt.
I just said Freemason. That was just a comment. But.
I mean, even when Mason was in there, he still was over 5 yards of rush. He only got 5 carries. I think even last week when he was in there, he was over 5 yards of carry. So Purdy did not look great this game. The weather, field wasn't great. It did rain for a while, but there was some passes that Purdy should have made. He overthrew Ayuk quite a bit, a lot. Ayuk had 10 targets and only 4 catches. So that was another one there. He did throw his first interception, his first loss of a regular season game that he started and finished. So I don't know. I think they had a chance to win it at the end. They missed 2 field goals. I don't know. They should have really won the game. They were in a position to win it, but they knew going into this game it was going to be a battle-tested game. So
yeah. I no one's really giving, and I think a lot of the talk has already gone like away from what the Browns defense is doing this year. And everyone's been like, I've been listening to stuff and it's just been like Purdy this, Purdy that. I think you really need to give the Browns defense some credit here. Coming in the game, and they had only allowed, now they have had their bye week already, but they had only allowed 5 TDs coming up into this game. All right, this Browns defense is only giving up 125 yards in the air a game and under 80 yards on the ground. No one's moving the ball against them.
That's insane in 2023, dude.
Yeah,
that's insane.
No one is moving the ball against this defense. Now
I think Lamar had 186 and 2 touchdowns against them a couple weeks ago.
But it wasn't much.
It wasn't much. Other than that, you had Pickett when Pittsburgh beat him. Pickett had 222, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. So nobody's throwing up great stats against them.
No. The other thing too is, going back to that Ayuk stat, the 10 targets for 4 catches in the first quarter. Now, it wasn't a perfectly thrown ball, but Ayuk on that bomb from Purdy, it went off both of his hands. I actually rewatched the play. I really felt like it should have been caught, and the defender was falling down. Had he catch that ball, it was a touchdown all day. And that's the crazy thing about football is one play here, one play there. It can make a huge difference in the outcome of the game. So, I mean,
well, you want to get into one play. You already know what play I'm going to talk about. That on 3rd and 10, it's late in the game, 3rd and 10. There was 2:45 left in the fourth quarter. Unnecessary roughness call on Tashawn Gibson. Bullshit call.
Don't be sour.
Watch the replay, Matt. He never hit his head.
Bad guy.
So, but it's just like Scott's saying, one play changes the entire outcome. It was 3rd and 10. It was incomplete.
That's true, but you gotta throw out there. Brock should have had 3, maybe 4 interceptions this game. So this game could have been tilted the way.
But there was also an interception Niners should have had in the end zone too.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of things that, like, a lot of one plays
could have, would have,
right? Like, it's the game. That's
it really is the game.
I feel like this game showed it, and it sucks because I don't want to say this because I don't believe it, but it gives weight to the argument of people who are saying Brock Purdy's not elite, and like this kind of brought him back, and it not even brought him back a little bit. It brought him back a lot. It was like he's been taking major strides forward and proving people wrong. And it's not like he took one step back, multiple steps backwards.
No, but you know what? Let me tell you this. A lot of people don't know this. Browns defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, right? He technically, career long, he owns Kyle Shanahan when they play each other. Kyle Shanahan's offense only averages about 15 points per game against Jim Schwartz's defense's lifetime. And I want to say he's only beat Jim Schwartz once. He's 1-for-8 against them.
That's
Defense
probably
coordinator.
week right there, Matt.
Yeah, stat of the week.
Um,
I did not know that.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz. Have you noticed he plays a lot of man?
Did
He plays
Adam,
some zone,
did
but he
Adam
plays a lot of man.
Sheffer tell you that stat? His buddy Adam Schefter?
No, I just Googled it right now.
And Tony, going back to what you're saying, there's a lot of truth behind that because, people have just been waiting for Purdy to have this type.
Mm-hmm.
People have been waiting.
I have. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was going to happen.
Now, look.
Well, of course it was going to happen at some point. How long did it
Yeah.
take for it to happen?
Yeah.
Now, look. This is now we get to see if Purdy is real. Okay. Because if I'm the 49ers, I'm looking at next week. Monday night game against Minnesota. Minnesota's without Jefferson. They have not a very good team. They're just not a good team right now. Okay. Now, with McCaffrey and Debo banged up, I'm looking like maybe I don't play McCaffrey and Debo next week. I think they can beat Minnesota without both those players. Okay. I really do. I think this defense, Kirk Cousins never done well against the 49ers defense the last few years. And on top of that, who's he going to throw to? TJ Hawkins. The Niners have some of the best coverage against tight ends.
Yep.
They're not going to beat us with KJ Osborne and freaking Addison. It's just not going to happen.
And another one possession game for Minnesota.
The reason I do that is because the following week they play Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so I think next week, you give Purdy this bounce back game to get over what happened.
Make him feel good.
And next week, and he can deliver against a team he should deliver against. Then it's like, okay, let's see what you have against the Bengals. And if he can go out and have a great game against the Bengals, I think everything's going to be fine. Now, if he comes out and he plays crappy against Minnesota, I'm going to be a little bit worried that he might be letting people's chirp get to him a little bit. Yeah.
Where's that game? Is it in Minnesota or is it in?
It's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota.
The fucking horn. I'm going to be blowing that fucking horn.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think Purdy will let it get to his head because people have been doubting him for a long time. I mean, and he hasn't got to his head yet. So,
but now he gets to hear the "I told you so."
I told you so. Yeah.
This is his chance to come out and
the best thing he can do is he can rebound.
Yeah.
And
I was Shanahan. I would script the first 15-20 plays for Brock Purdy, easy out the pocket, bootleg, get him moving out the pocket, easy passes, and fucking get some confidence up.
Yeah. So do you think with McCaffrey? Oh, go ahead, Scott, because you get cut off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 25 penalties in this game.
From you guys or from everybody?
Total.
It was a very, very sloppy game. There was over 200 yards in penalties.
That sounds like the Raiders. On a down year.
I watched highlights, but I just kept seeing fucking sleeper injury.
I'm
like, what the fuck? And that's I text. I was like, what the hell's going on over there, man?
Well, that game was raining early on, and it was sloppy.
So with McCaffrey going down,
back. Oh, God, Tony.
Does it with McCaffrey going? I mean, not going down a lot, but I mean, with now he's gonna have an injury designation and a questionable mark. Does this take him out of the MVP discussion because he's not?
He was never in the MVP discussion. I don't think.
Okay, in my opinion, if you ask me, it shouldn't be a quarterback. It shouldn't even be Tua. It should be Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And it goes because of everything we talked about. He is the reason that offense is great. And it's not because he's a great wide receiver. It's because he's a weapon wherever he goes. The motion.
Most MVP, most valuable player. He is the most valuable player on that team. You take him out of that equation?
Not the team they are.
Yeah.
But the NFL's not going to give it to him.
They go to cornerbacks, and they should. They should give it to him. It's my opinion, but whatever. Conversation for another time.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, I want to jump because we're getting kind of long into this thing. I want to jump into one more, quick segments here. The next two segments I want to talk about, then we'll be done. I want to talk about one. Now, this segment, I want to talk about what you guys think about what they should do as far as being able to maybe challenge certain penalties when there's like 2 minutes left in the game. The reason I say that is exactly what Mike said. Now, in live time, that hit looked illegal. on Cooper. Okay, it did. But in the slow-mo, you would have seen it was a clean hit. This also goes back to as far as like when the Rams and Saints played. And the Rams had that. I mean, I don't
It was a blatant PI call.
Yeah, was the refs not even watching?
Yeah, it was a PI call.
But remember,
he was right there.
Remember, the next year, they allowed teams to challenge pass interference. And then they went away from that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. With pass interference, there's almost always pass interference of some type on every play, just like there's almost holding on everything. That's why I said certain plays should be allowed to be challenged. Maybe roughing the passer, unsportsmanlike contact, kind of like how the 49ers had that situation, or with the Rams situation. Certain ones should be allowed. I don't think it'd be like holding. Maybe illegal hands to the face, something like that, to where if it's under 2 minutes and this can really like make the difference in the game. I mean, think about Kansas City. They've had a couple of calls really go their way at the end of some of those
couple.
Yeah,
it's more than a handful.
A couple per game is what he meant.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm only saying you can only do this under 2 minutes, and I don't think it should be 100% coaches. It should be based on, upstairs in the booth. And I don't think. And now I'm not throwing any shade at the refs. Like, they have a very difficult job.
Yeah.
But when the game is on the line, I think the call needs to be right. It's just like an MLB.
Yes.
How they have all
the game on the line. There's nothing wrong with there being another eye.
Yeah, I feel like saying that like, oh, the refs have a difficult job. Yeah, so do fucking I. Like, you need to be able to be challenged if you're wrong. It's that simple. Like, there's
now, where would you call the cutoff on? I mean, a game that's within 2 possessions inside 2 minutes.
There should be no cutoff.
I say it should be. Within.
Okay, but here's the thing: within 2 minutes,
5 minutes at the end of each half.
Miami, if it's a Miami and Denver score and it's 70-10 inside 2 minutes.
Yeah, but that's
really going
to make a difference.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Should be. I think it should be within the halves. So if it's going into the half, you have 5 minutes between the 5-6 minute mark, halfway between the quarter and the end of the game. 5-6 minutes. Like those. Have you guys noticed that's when the most crucial fucking calls are called or not called?
Yeah. And like
in between the halftime and end of the game.
And Mike, like going back to
this one on the Niners was 2:45 left in the fourth.
Yeah,
you should only have one challenge for that.
If you have a challenge and you're losing fucking 70-10 and you're a coach and you're going to challenge that shit, the coach looks fucking stupid. Like,
Scott's not saying it comes.
We're talking
about this not coming from the coach.
The league office.
They're not going to.
The league is never going to challenge.
But what my other point too is that Kansas City wouldn't be Super Bowl champs right now.
Exactly. That's the point. They want to shape the outcome. That's what they want the ability to do, which is why they will never allow challenges within 2 minutes. Not even with 2 minutes, within 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever we want to decide it can be. You should be able to challenge whenever you want if it's a legitimate, like, pass interference, some bullshit call that you're just like, that's clearly not pass interference, but you can't challenge it because they're listening to people up in the booth tell them like, hey, that's pass interference, challenge that shit. They would challenge it all day if the people were convinced that they could do it. I mean, when they challenge something, there's always somebody in their ear telling the coach, hey, you need to challenge this right now because I can see this on my screen that this is going on, challenge it. That's happening.
Well, that's like the play way back in the day on the Niners and the Saints when fucking Drew Brees got hit.
Yeah.
Turned himself into a long nut. He never hit him in the head.
No. Stupid, bro. It is what it, but I feel like they use it to shape the game. Like, but I think it's evident at this point with all the shit that's going on with the Chiefs. Like, they can't hide this shit anymore, bro. It's stupid.
And so, last thing I want to talk about before we get into the At Least You Tried segment, my favorite segment that we have implemented into the podcast, is with the Jalen Hurts interception to Goddard. Okay, I would like to see a new stat. Okay, because I'm tired of quarterbacks getting.
I know where you're going with this.
Stats on their sheet when it's not on them. And I think if the pass if it goes through a wide receiver's hands or bounces off of them, whatever, if this shit should be caught, they should take it off of the quarterback and they should put it on the wide receiver. I'd like to see wide receiver interceptions.
Or you can just specify it as
interceptions.
Receiver assisted interception.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
I like that. Yeah. Wide receiver assisted interception. Something because I just think it's a little bit unfair.
It's skewed.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you're throwing 5 yards behind your wide receiver, then it gets picked off. It's another thing if you're throwing them in the numbers, he doesn't catch it, bounces off his chest, and goes into the.
Or he puts his hands up and it hits the dead center and bounces up. And
Kadarius Toney.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how is that on the quarterback? Like, how? It's not.
But we live in a crazy world.
So with that said, last segment going to be quick. And it is called At Least You Tried. Each week we are going to be picking some players, maybe some teams that we just want to just congratulate them on not showing the fuck up. And for me, that is going to be Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy. Russell Wilson, 95 yards. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 14. Blow that whole fucking team up. Sell everyone. I don't even know what to even call them anymore.
It's bad.
Fuck, at least you tried. At least you showed up.
I feel bad for Sean Payton.
Especially after the whole Steve Smith debacle pregame.
Oh,
you get called out by Steve Smith, show the fuck up and get a touchdown. You do something besides 3 for 14. That's an embarrassment.
3 for 14. Bro.
Tony, who you got?
Mine's Josh Allen. I know that they won, but you beat the Giants and you had less passing yards than Tyrod Taylor. I know you won, bro. That's not going to carry or win you a Super Bowl, and you're supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Yeah, at least you tried.
Matt?
I got Devonta Smith for this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. The guy he dropped the fucking ball in the middle of the field. All he had was a safety 15 yards off him. He catches it to touchdown. That game is fucking totally different, and he switched the momentum of that game. It was a 3rd down play, I believe, right?
Yep.
It was a 3rd down play, and he went 5 for 44 on 11 targets. Understanding it was average game, but to me, you tried, but you didn't fucking try it hard enough. Come on, man. You're a top receiver. You got to make that fucking catch.
Mike?
I'm actually sticking with the Niners on this one, and I'm going with Kittle. Last week against Dallas, 3 catches, 67 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he follows that up this week with 2 targets, 1 catch, 1 yard.
And that's McCaffrey.
Yeah, and that's with McCaffrey and Debo gone. Hey, you're missing 2 key players. You got to step up.
Hey, maybe next week he could throw up a shirt that says, "At least I tried." With that said, I'd like to thank everyone for joining into this podcast. Hopefully, we're going to see you next week. We're going to keep trying to
add something right now.
Get this new segments. With that said, fuck the 3 guys around me. They don't know shit about football. This is all me. See you guys next week.
Brees Hall's coming.
On your face.
Subscribe.
Brees Hall's coming. All right, guys. See ya.
See ya.